endlessly searching for an original soul.
Welcome to Japanese Weeaboo, the game. I don't know how to say the name. Hakuoki. Hakuoki. Thank you, Weeaboo. Wait, no, you're not the Korean. Never mind. I was gonna say, are you the Korean? There are so many of you. I'm going to vanish for a moment. Just ignore me. So welcome! This is going to be one of the choices. We can either do this for Patreon streams, or we can do Amnesia. They are both Atomi games. Now the reason I'm doing an Atomi game is to kind of give you guys that aren't used to them kind of a feel for this. And as I've said, because we're also doing a Yaoi game, the next game I'll be doing is a Yuri game that you guys will get to choose, because you allowed me to do my game. But I wanted to show you guys this game. This is actually, I think, the first game in an entire series that also has its own anime. I want to see if I can change the button configuration. Can I use my controller? Because, God, that would be easier for my life. Yes, I can. Holy crap. So yeah, what I originally was thinking of doing was making Kisa go bye-bye and doing this. Hold on. I might not have that on here, never mind. I might have to transfer it. So give me a second. If I have to transfer it, I'll do it for the next time if we do more of this. Now this will be completely up to you guys. I am killing time while I look for something. But I have a feeling it's on my other computer, which is fairly... No, it's not. Yeah, actually, it's on here. Ah! Don't move me! Move the cartoon! Thank you! Don't move me. I'm cute. Thank you. How dare you, person behind the computer? See if I can do... Someone should draw me as a samurai. Only the stupid colorless character and the other one who's not on here, actually. Shoot monkeys. Do I not have the other one? Do I not have Lex on here? Aw, I'll show you guys the other picture, though. There is 2 of these. If you guys haven't seen, they're actually, wall scrolls that we're selling right now. But this is the other one. But she's not ready yet, because I haven't gotten rid of the background. Oh, there was a Samurai Jack me. Put the Samurai Jack me on, computer person. Yeah, one moment. Freaking unicorn. Oh, I don't have it on here. I only have the full picture. See? I look lovely in that outfit. It's okay. We'll figure this out later. So now that I'm a spastic, let's continue. Let's see. What name shall we give this character, guys? Should we keep the name or no, it's gone now? What should we name this character? Generica. No, be nice. Anon? When in doubt, Anon it out. What? No. Okay, this game's a little bit. Anon, ending name, input, proceed. Yes. We'll just go with that. This is a work of fiction. Blah 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 blah. Japan. Hey, December. Wonder how much of this I actually have to voice act. So this is Kyoto. It was awfully impressive. No denying it. Even simple hello. Hold on. No. Even simple hellos between people passing in the streets seem warm and friendly. They nod and smile to one another, as if family and not strangers about errands. Give me a minute. I'm trying to figure out how to do... Is there a way? No. That's auto. That's skip. That's force read. That's a save. And that's a load. That's what I want. This is a very rarely controlled one. Fast as bunny rabbits. Still, there was something else as well. Something making the city feel strangely cold. Almost as though there were a great invisible wall, shutting out anyone wandering from the country. I'm not sure if I belong here. No, that's all in my head. I walked quite some distance to reach Kyoto, and both my mind and body were exhausted. Even so, tiredness was no reason to meander and feel sorry for myself. I couldn't afford to. Excuse me. I hesitantly stopped a passerby. I'm sorry, I seem to be a bit lost. Could you... By the way, I do have one other game you guys can choose from. Do you want me to show it to you tonight or wait till next week? What am I supposed to do now? I was lost again, but in a different sort of way. I sighed and looked up at the darkening sky. The sun was beginning to set. Alright, that sounds good. People I'd spoken to showed me no unkindness, and they'd given me directions that I needed, but... Was now really the best time to leave the city? Learning the people I'd hoped to visit had left town caused hope to seep from my crumbling resolve. Sounds good to me. Then we'll make this Sinfully Fun Games, and if you guys like this, we'll end up continuing it. And next week I'll show you your other choice. The only person besides father I could rely on in the city who I could rely on, Dr. Matsumoto. Dr. Matsumoto was a doctor serving the shogunate. Had I never met him myself, but my father put a great deal of trust in the man. Hold on, I need to close my door, sorry. Miko opened my door. He had told me that if I had run into any trouble in his absence, I was to contact Dr. Matsumoto. Unfortunately, Dr. Matsumoto was out on business and would not return for some time. Don't worry, I won't go for much longer. Was I too hasty? Perhaps I should have waited. It is indeed rude to visit without warning, which is why I had sent a letter prior to my arrival. But it seems he had left before reading my letter. Just wordfully confusing. It's shogunate. Hold on, let me move this so I can read the chat. Like in the name. Oh, okay. Perhaps I thought I should have waited for a reply before traveling to an unfamiliar city. But I can no longer spend time waiting idly for news. The nate part is English? So it's a shogun. That's what I thought, shogun. Why did they put nate? Wait, is this? Oh, cool. The main character of the story, she travels to Kyoto in search for her father. She subsequently finds herself resolved with the Shinsenegumi. Is something wrong with father? He paused for a moment and looked at me.
実はな、しばらくの間、京の都へ行くことになった。
Is it for business again? He left the house often during that period, sometimes for days at a time. How long will you be gone?
それはわからん。一月になるか、二月になるか。
Oh. There was no hiding my disappointment. Nevertheless, I wasn't a child anymore. I couldn't beg him not to go, or some other foolishness. Yes, I'd be lonely, but I was much more worried for him. Please, father, be careful. They say that the city of Kyoto is dangerous. He only smiled and nodded.
安心しなさい。お前が心配しないように、京にいる間はできる限り手紙を書くよ。
You promise? Father kept his promise. A new letter arrived so often I scarcely had the time to respond before another would arrive. He told me that he worried about me being home all by myself. Then the letters stopped. A whole month passed with no word. Father, they say Kyoto is full of ronin. Samurai who have left their masters, who have been stripped of their privileges. It can also be referred to a samurai who does not have a master to serve. It is not a safe place. Usually, a samurai is paid by their house, but house refers to a domain or clan that a samurai serves. It can also be used after a fashion to refer to specific persons a samurai serves. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I do like that they have that. Ronin who report to no house often rob people in order to make ends meet. They're nothing more than violent criminals who hide behind the image of a samurai. Such is the state of the city of Kyoto, the city of Ronin. Small wonder, then, that I worried for my father. My mind would concoct horrible possibilities, and I often found myself depressed and tense. Nah, he's just visiting the tea houses. First, I suppose I need to find a place to stay. Lost in thought, I didn't notice nightfall descended. If I was honest with myself, I hadn't the faintest idea of how long searching for him would take. I'd brought a negligible sum of money with me, enough to last a month if used wisely. Finding father in this window of time was a must. Otherwise, I would have to depend on Dr. Matsumoto returning in this time, or else I'd be forced to return home without a word. Well, at any rate, I should try to be as frugal as possible. I lengthened my stride and set off on my path. Fortunately for me, men's clothing assisted with keeping a quicker pace than women's. Kyoto presented many dangers to a young girl, hoping to explore the city without direction. My disguise, such as it was, provided successful, and I'd safely made it all the way to Kyoto. Such success went to my head and led me to believe I could explore Kyoto as I pleased. But Kyoto is not a safe place. I should have remembered that. Instead, I had somehow convinced myself that the city's hidden dangers didn't apply to me. I was about to discover otherwise. Hey there, buddy! You want to be friends? I have 2 swords like that. I do, actually. I spun around. In the street in front of me were 3 Ronin. Can I help you? I did my best to keep my voice calm, reaching nonchalantly for my kodachi. Kodachi, originally a short katana. By the end of the Edo period, it referred to a large wakizashi. It was usually worn as half of a pair with a large sword, such as a katana. I actually have both in my room. And another katana that's a fan sent me, a nice little black one. My father encouraged me to take sword lessons. I'd kept with them, and I did rather well. I was confident enough in defending myself. However, perhaps my overconfidence in myself is what served the situation at hand for me. I'd messed up and let my guard down. My fault. There was a chance I could take them on, but there were 3 of them, and 1 of me. Only then did I realize they were far more interested in my sword than they were in me. But the sword wasn't just a blade I picked up. It was a family heirloom spanning generations. There was no way I could give it to the Ronin, though I had a feeling they wouldn't understand. In such a situation, the best decision was undoubtedly to retreat. I turned and ran as fast as my legs could. Gosh, they sure don't give up easily, do they? I felt like I'd been running for quite a while, but I could still hear the Ronin cursing loudly. I ducked into an alley flattening against the wall. After deciding they weren't too close, I crept farther into the alley. Someone left a couple of sheets of wood leaning against one of the houses, a perfect hiding spot. What luck, I thought, kneeling under them. This is my way to escape this mess. Huh? I was listening for sounds intently. A suspiciously calm entered my mind. I'd expected to hear the Ronin yelling to each other, looking for me, but seconds turned into minutes, and I heard nothing. I was about to sneak out and look when... And dead. What? My plan to investigate was immediately halted. Remaining silent and hidden was more important. Still... It was then that the true fear began to set in. There was something dangerous out there, something quite possibly lethal. My imagination conjured up no shortage of gruesome theories. Even so, I could feel an itch of curiosity. I wanted to know what was out there. Carefully, I peeked around the corner's edge. The cold reflection of moonlight upon the blade glared at me, and my eyes followed it to the arm that held it, clad in a coat of light blue. Had this person saved me? But no slower that it appeared, my hopes vanished. Oh God, it's Xenia, run! I heard the Ronin stumbling to beg for his life. The person in the blue coat said nothing, just stepped forward, his sword raised. A high, screeching laugh cut the man's scream. A blade fell through the air like a butcher's knife, rather than a sword. No skill, just death. The scream turned wet, caught and disappeared like air leaving half-empty bellows, lots of ketchup. My eyes wide. I had just witnessed a murder. Any strength I'd received vanished quickly. My legs gave way and I crumpled to the ground. My eyes widened like busted shells. He died with the first blow, but as I watched, the blade fell, carving lines into the corpse. The soft slip of the blade through flesh, the silent creep of blood across the ground. I felt nothing from them but madness. Their only desire was raw, animalistic violence. Whatever they were, it wasn't human. They were broken. I could feel my throat clench tightly, and a warm, dark smell brushed against my face. I slowly recognized the coppery tang of blood. The icy bolt of fear ran down my spine, crawling into my limbs and freezing me in place. I was terrified. What was I going to do? What could I do? You have to run, Anon. I forced my jaw open and dragged a ragged breath. This was the only chance I'd get. I had to. Ah! My body, still numb with fear, was unresponsive. I lurched sideways against the stacked wood, and with a rough clatter it collapsed. Oh, hey, Kisa found a gang. The creatures turned, coats drenched in blood. Their eyes locked with mine and bore into me. Hideous grins split their inhuman faces, shaking with excitement at prey to slaughter. Ah! I had to run. I could have gotten a lot louder. Don't even try me. I couldn't die yet, but my legs refused to give up. Refused to move. Their hideous, cackling laughter echoed. I was going to die. The Kisa gang. Yeah! My body was frozen with terror. I couldn't even scream. I just did a good job of it earlier. This was it. This was the end. What? I watched them rise, their bloody swords, the moon glinting off the metal. Then there was a flash of light and the soft splash of blood. I could feel it, warm and sticky. Bile began to rise in my throat, but before disgust took over, I heard a voice. Goddamn, did I hear a voice. The word suggested disappointment, but the voice sounded happy.
僕一人で始末しちゃうつもりだったのに、はじめくん、こんな時に限って仕事が早いよね。
As he spoke, the strange man smiled, almost as if he were enjoying himself.
俺は務めを果たすべく動いたまでだ。あんたと違って俺に戦闘狂の手は。
Hold on, I'm gonna do something really quick. This is a problem you guys will notice I have a lot with these games. I actually have a problem hearing the voices. over the music.
うわ、ひどい言い草だな。まるで僕が戦闘狂みたいだ。
He laughed.
否定はしないのか。
The man called Sato sighed with the air of a long-suffering companion and looked at me.
でもさ、あいつらがこの子を殺しちゃうまで黙って見てれば、僕たちの手間も省けたんじゃないかな。
His tone was light, but it confirmed my fears. I may have escaped the schemes of the Ronin, but I was ensnared by something much darker.
さあな、少なくともその判断は俺たちが下すべきものではない。
Huh? Then, who was in charge of these two? Their conversation led me to believe they were part of an organization. As I thought about it, I recalled hearing about men in blue coats. Ah! My thoughts were interrupted by a dark shape sliding into view. Is it? Hold on. Oh, I am. Let me see if I can fix that. 1 second, everybody. Thank you for letting me know. I can fix this. Hold on. If we're gonna do that, then we can do this. You need to tell me these things. I can't see the screen like you guys can. Give me a minute. This actually works to our advantage. Watch. See? Now we got our Ronin. Whatever you want to call her. Is that okay? Does that look fine? No, don't move me like that. Don't do that. Don't do that. There we go. That's good. Thank you for letting me know. I am sorry again for that. I swallowed hard. The moonlight shone off his smooth, dark hair. For some reason, I couldn't fathom. In that moment, the light on his hair made me think of the wistfulness of flower petals. It was almost as if the cherry trees were blooming out of season.
運のないやつだ。
His voice was cold and quiet, like the blade of ice. Blue-white moonlight lit his slender face and shone from the blades pointed at my chest. It wasn't the sword making my breath catch. It was his eyes. They were fierce and hard, but somewhere behind them, I could catch a glimpse of something else. There could be no doubt he was prepared to kill me, and yet he looked troubled. Not kindness, but perhaps mercy?
いいか、逃げるなよ。背を向ければ切る。
I nodded. There was no doubt he meant every word he said. He stared at me for a moment, then grimaced, and put his sword away, sighing. What? I was too surprised to stop myself from speaking, and it quickly became apparent that I wasn't the only one.
あれ、いいんですか、土方さん。この子、さっきの見ちゃったんですよ。
As he spoke, to the man he called Hijakata, his eyes narrowed. The man called Hijakata frowned at him.
いちいち余計なことを喋るんじゃねえよ。下手な話を聞かせちまうと、始末せざるを得なくなるだろうが。
It was clear enough that what I'd seen was something they wanted to keep hidden. The more they said, the more I got it, and it was clear none of us wanted such a thing.
この子を生かしておいても厄介なことにしかならないと思いますけどね。
The way he looked at me made me feel as if he'd read my
と
mind.
にかく殺せばいいってもんじゃねえだろう。こいつの処分は帰ってから決める。
俺は副長の判断に賛成です。ここに長く留まれば他の者に見つかるかもしれない。
Then he looked down at the creature he'd killed, as though he'd forgotten the whole
こう
ordeal.
も血に狂うとは、やはり実務に使える代物ではないようです。
頭の痛え話だ。
He peered down at the corpse, his face an emotionless mask. When he looked back up at his companions, however, his eyes narrowed.
つうかお前ら、土方とか副長とか呼んでんじゃねえよ。伏せろ。
へえ、伏せるも何もこの大服を着てる時点でバレバレだと思いますけど。
He was right. Even I had heard stories about a gang of cruel men in blue coats who cut people down in the streets, but I didn't know how to confront the dilemma of pretending I didn't see any of these horrors. My mind swirled through a pool of worries and thoughts, almost as if I was being drawn into their world. A world where there is nothing strange in carrying on a normal conversation in the dead of night with corpses for company.
死体の処理はいかように、肉体的な異常は特に現れていないようですが。
Hijikata thought for a moment before he
羽
spoke.
織だけ脱がせとけ。あとは観察の方で何とかする。
承知しました。
新選組の大使が切り殺されてるなんて僕たちにとっても一大事ですしね。
He gave a decisive bark of laughter.
あとはここにいた奴が黙ってりゃ世間も勝手に納得してくれるだろうよ。
He looked directly at me, and I got the distinct feeling his words weren't for his companions. It was common for people to be murdered in Kyoto. It was a dangerous city, after all. I knew that, of course. But to see it happen? That was something else entirely. If death was such an easy thing in Kyoto, I thought then the city itself must surely be mad.
ねえ、ところでさ、助けてあげたのにお礼の一つもないの。
You know, I can give them credit for making the mouths move, but it's still weird. Huh? I didn't realize right away he was speaking to me. When I did, my eyes went wide. What do you mean you saved me? Well, he did have a point. Despite their threats, they saved my life. I stood up as steadily as I could manage, brushed some dirt off my clothes, and bowed. Thank you very much. I apologize for not thanking you earlier. There was so much going on, I was confused. I glanced up at them, tentatively. Then the man called Hajime, whatever. Also Haji, I'm just gonna call him Haji, also looked confused. His eyes were wide and he had an expression I couldn't place. Hiji looked as though he'd taken a bite of something sour. I sighed deeply before continuing. I know it seems weird to say that, but he told me I should say thanks, so I looked up. Saito and Hiji both stared pointedly at anything but me, and the third man was shaking with laughter.
ごめん。そうだよね。僕が言ったんだもんね。
He broke out in laughter again, so much so that he was forced to wipe a few tears from his eyes as he straightened up.
どういたしまして。僕は沖田総司と言います。礼儀正しい子は嫌いじゃないよ。
Thank you for helping me. Not quite sure what else to do, I bowed again.
君を助けてくれたのが斎藤はじめくん。それでこっちの偉そうなのが。
わざわざ紹介してんじゃねえよ。
副長、お気持ちはわかりますが、まず移動を。
Whatever mirth was inspired was gone. The man called Saito now spoke with quiet urgency. The man named Okita grabbed hold of my wrist, smiled, and led us down the street. His grip was a touch too tight to be friendly, his fingers like iron cables around my arm. There was no question about my situation. I quickly picked up on the notion that if I were to run, I'd be killed instantly. Didn't he not just say that earlier? My life was in the hands of these strange men. I set my jaw and stood up as straight as I could. My eyes crept up from the blood-stained coat and met Saito's gaze. Anon is not a smart woman. No.
刺していいようには転ばない。
It seems like whenever we name the character Anon, they're not very smart. I'm just saying. His words were like daggers in my stomach. What was going to happen to me? Was I going to die? As we walked through the bleak Kyoto night, I felt horror crawl its way up my spine once again. The cause of my fear wasn't the gruesome end that awaited me, but something else entirely. I spoke with these men and watched them speak, standing next to a warm corpse soaked in blood. That I had done such a thing terrified me in an altogether different way. Perhaps this is what it's like to go mad. We've seen this before. You might know this song. This is actually an anime also. So with that, we just finished the prologue. So we are going to actually call it right here. But what do you guys think of this game so far? Anime! So this is actually a really popular series in Japan. I actually have one of the special editions for the PlayStation 3 of this. But what do you guys think? Do you like that game? Because if you do, I'm going to save the other game I was going to show you and just do it after this. But I think you guys might enjoy this game. It's got samurai and samurai and samurai and samurai. And apparently the Kisa gang makes an appearance, which was pretty cool. There's, I believe, 3 games, and hold on, let me double check, actually. How many games is in this series? And is this the first one? That's probably what I should have checked. I think it is, though. So there's a couple of games in this. Yeah, so there's like 2, I think? Goddamn Idea Factory is not easy to deal with. So apparently each game goes directly into each other, which is cool. I tried Amnesia, not bad like the anime sprites, but couldn't get into the story. Yeah, I'm gonna try again with Amnesia. My only issue is there's no voice acting for me, so it's just me being a smarmy bitch the entire time. So I didn't like that. But I want to thank you guys for coming. I'm probably not gonna do, because we went a little long tonight. I'm not going to do Pokemon tonight. I'll just do it on Saturday or whenever I come back to streaming. I'm going to take a bit of a break from Twitch right now because I got to catch up on some stuff. But thank you guys. And once again, huge thank you guys for being supporters. It does mean a lot right now. If you haven't gone and voted on your platform, be it Patreon or whatever, for the next VTuber, please do. And all of you guys have a fantastic night. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you guys in the Discord, I promise. Night, everybody. Mwah. Love you.